Hey everyone, this is Real Lion back at you again. Do this first little video regarding LeBron James being, you know, talking about what everyone already know about. This is why we say we need to be our own streaming service so our brothers and sisters can speak the truth without any backlash or worry about the security of their job, as long as it's not malicious or mean-spirited, but truthfully and actually. That's what I'm trying to say. LeBron James was just courageous on speaking on the truth of what's happening with NFL owners and their mentality. Because if you could tell me anything different than what we're saying, then maybe it wouldn't be coming to the point. I mean, it's so blatantly that everyone who's anyone with a brain to know that. And this is why people do not really go along or get along with Stephen A. Smith antics, and 1 minute he wants to speak for us and 1 minute he wants to oppress us. And what I mean by that is, Stephen A. Smith, you do not speak for us. The only difference is you on a network that they believe you speak for us and you don't. A lot of things you say, you put your foot in your mouth a lot of times, brother. And I say that respectably. I understand all of us in those genres have a job to do. I understand that it's only so much you can say on Disney, because after all, it is Disney. Now, that's a whole nother story. But however, what did he say that was so egregious and so outrageous and talking about you need to be worried about him and things of that nature? Isn't that what's happening right now? What about Colin Kaepernick? What about Mr. Reed from the Panthers? What about all of the things to stop us from owning the NFL team? You mean to tell me we don't have the money or the whereabouts to own a team, while a lot of those guys have inherited those teams and they're more qualified than us to talk about a game that's predominantly, us? That's the problem we have with you, Stephen A. Smith. So stop talking about these things that number one, you're not comfortable telling the truth with. Two, you can't say the truth because of the network you work for. Three, majority of us who think like you don't want to hear the truth anyway, because you think it's all about your money or your college and all this other stuff that have nothing to do with it. It have nothing to do whether you're a convicted felon or you're a PhD professor. This is race relations. This is about the problem that we have dealing with our issues, but without being meddled or being told what we should say and what we should feel. That's the mindset. And all he said got a bunch of old men who owning teams that they got with the slave mentality. And isn't that true? You tell me they all think that somehow, some way, from paid patriotism, somehow, some way, talking about is anti-American or anti-this or that, or anti-establishment. No, we anti being bullied. We're anti being told how to feel and what to say. And because you so used to dictating and forcing yourselves in our lane that you think you can speak for us, or because you studied the tape or this or that, that's the mindset that we have. Like we're not capable of thinking for ourselves. But that's a slave mentality. We determine what we feel and how we say. No one else. That's the problem, that we get upset when people tell us that. But you don't want to be us, but you still are brilliance. And more we find out all of the things that we have invented as a people, all of the paid tribute that personally that I have done for this land. All of the soldiers, all of the fallen soldiers, all of the ones who have died, and still the land that you have stolen, the robbery, the murder, the raping, you have stolen, all the pagan worship that we're doing. We got no blood ties to Christmas or Thanksgiving. You see how destroyed you got us to do? We're going to do something that is not real. And then when we think about the origin of it, it got nothing to do with what you trying to say, talking about feeling. So if someone told you, Stephen A. Smith, or anyone who want to do those practices, or anyone want to do what LeBron James said, he's trying to uplift his people. Somehow, some way, they have to be interpreted as something other than what it is. You tell me about these culture vultures. You tell me who people who got nothing to do with nothing concerning around us. Like, you look at the shop. I'm looking at half of the people of the Caucasian. What do they have to do with any of that in the first place? You know what I mean? They're not actors. They're not sports. A lot of them are commentators. They got nothing to do with it. It's supposed to be for us. That's what the problem. Somehow, some way, you got to get some token involved in our stuff. Then you tell us you don't want us involved in anything unless you got a watchdog. That's all he was saying. LeBron James is a credible role model. Do he have his flaws? Who doesn't? Everyone who's listening and watching got flaws. I got flaws. But the problem is, when you held to a higher standard, that's how people treat you and how people going to govern you. And what I mean by govern you, they think because he wears the Lakers jersey now, somehow, some way, he can't speak truth. And I understand that because a lot of brothers know, some of us who not securing with the bag and not just with themselves, just like Colin Kaepernick. He sacrificed telling the truth. And he still, you can't tell me the NFL players. That's another thing before I'm going all over the place. That's what they was talking about. Colin Kaepernick is better. If you look at the NFL quarterbacks, all the guys making 10 and 50 talking about the position. Those guys suck. Especially that Mike Glennon, the guy that stole money for the Bears. He stole money. He stole money. That guy, you trying to tell me Colin Kaepernick not better than this guy? And this guy led his team to the Super Bowl. And half these guys that's in the NFL now, 90% of them don't even qualify because, why, the position? Give me a break, man. That's what we're talking about. Be fair, but you're not capable of being fair. You just want bootlickers and guys and women who talk the way you do and then and infest themselves with us, and somehow, somewhere they got to convert us. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem that a lot of people got to understand. And Stephen A. Smith need to know when to pump the brakes when it's concerning different things that's very sensitive to us. Then get in our face and talk about, I said it, I don't care. And we all know was his favorite, well, I don't give a damn. Well, if you don't give a damn, why are you speaking for us then? You know, you got them fooled, but you don't have us fooled. A lot of people stop watching First Take because of your antics. If you can't tell the truth, number one, keep it a sports show. Don't talk about race relations because we all know you work for Disney and you can't speak the truth anyway. You know this, I know that. So why even bother patronizing or trying to fool someone thinking that you on the ball, you can speak your mind, and we know. Jamel Hill, Michael Smith, I can go on and on to the Warrens, Parker, that spoke their mind, they're gone. They're gone. And the only one there is those who can tap really good. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Not against everybody, but I'm saying those, you know what I'm talking about, that speak up and speak out. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be careful when we pump these people up here. You know what I'm saying? Know people's pedigree. Knowing people's resume. Knowing what people say. And his resume is, I'm building empires. I'm building establishments for my people. So they can say, you know what? We have this, we have that. Because look at all of this race relation stuff going on. Everywhere we go, just for the color of our skin and our blood, we're being. What happened to the kid that was playing, was wrestling? You know, in the high school wrestling thing. That's what he's speaking for. He's speaking for people in Chicago, Cleveland, obviously, Akron, Ohio, and all over the place that's being misrepresented. That's what they were speaking. Ice Cube. That's what they were talking about. A tiger. Because you think these guys don't have a pulse. You think because, okay, we give them money and somehow they're our pet. They over here in this lane. They can't speak the truth to their people. Then you want them to endorse products so we can buy them. And then all of a sudden you think because they're buying, we're going to... No. That's the problem, Stephen A. Smith. And that's for those who think that way all of these different commentators, all of this liberal, conservative, all of that bunch of nonsense. Red wing, white wing, lefty, righty is still on the same bird, man. All of that's still on the same bird. And that's all he's trying to say. These guys don't want to turn over the ring. They want to keep it the way it is. How many owners had to lose ownership for racial biases or sexual harassment? How many NFL's owners got reprimanded for that? You think these executives don't talk? That's another reason why they don't want us around, because some of them gonna slip up. And that's what he's talking about. That's all, because most of the majority of these teams, they inherited those franchises from their father or their mother. They inherited that. And some of them spewed over and was able to obtain franchises. But where's our representation at? You mean to tell me we can't put the money together to own a team? No, they won't let us, because the governing body, they police who can and who can't own a franchise. That's all I'm going to say on that, man. But we need to check these people, man. This is why we say we need our own streaming services. We need our own Hulu, our own ESPN, our own TNT, our own CNN. Owned, controlled, and ran by us, financed by us, meaning no outside interference, and we support it. It's sink or swim, and have the faith and the courage that we can support our own. If we're tired of saying we're tired, we need to support our own. Otherwise, continue to watch things like this. Got brothers, got to say things like, I'm worried about LeBron James. For what? Do you know how much he have to deal with when he go to these different people with business deals? It's all over their face, but he deal with it because, why? He's used to that. Just like you and me, things we have to do. You know, the things we got to put up with. But then they say, take it like a smile. Why? Because you're supposed to deal with it. That's what we're talking about. Why people like Stephen A. Smith really tick us off, man. You really do, man.